No, man. This is the one. I don't know. I just want to start this podcast off with a
Okay, yeah. Welcome
story.
back to the Horror Podcast. We're talking about popcorn and we're talking about The Batman, a movie I think we've been looking forward to for a while now.
I just want to start this off with a story that you'll probably remember.
Okay.
Is it was the end of The Dark Knight Rises. I was seeing it in a different theater. It was a midnight premiere 10 years ago. And in that theater, I began weeping, not because of how sad the movie was, but because we'll never have another good Batman. And I was crying so hard that my girlfriend at the time couldn't console me. And on the ride home, I had to call you and be like, while I'm crying, big fat Kim Kardashian tears, like, hey, man, this girl doesn't understand. There's never going to be another good Batman. And I mean, I was crying. And guys, we've got it. We're back. We've got the fucking Batman.
We made it. We're back.
Fucking finally. I've needed this so badly
I
in my
know.
life.
Well, you see, I'm a big Robert Pattinson stan. I've been telling people to watch Good Time for years now, and then I've seen him. He's in The Lost City of Z, which is good. High Life. He's just been and The Lighthouse,
Lighthouse, yeah.
bunch of art films. And so when I heard Matt Reeves was doing this film, I was like, okay. And I finally watched the Planet of the Apes movies he did this past summer, and I really
Great.
liked one, especially the I think Rise, the middle movie. That movie kicks fucking ass.
Yeah, dude.
So I was like,
That's
okay,
great.
this guy at least is higher than most on my list for making a good blockbuster in an artistic style. And guess what? He delivered.
Oh, yeah. We got Matt Reeves. We got Zoe Kravitz as old Catwoman. We got Paul Dano unleashing it on us as the Riddler. Penguin played by Colin Farrell. And then, surprise, I didn't realize John Turturro was in this motherfucker as
As
Carmine.
Carmine Falcone. That
A
was a good.
pleasant surprise, dude.
What's the guy who played Gordon?
Jeffrey Wright, I think his name
I
is.
think he did a great job as Gordon.
Great Gordon, especially because like it's pre-full Commissioner Gordon
Yeah.
and just discovering that Gotham PD is corrupt as shit, Gordon.
Yeah.
This is kind of like the movie itself kind of combines year one with The Long Halloween,
Yeah.
which are two of the most iconic Batman comic books to go with.
Because
Pleasantly surprised.
Because as soon as it started talking about, as soon as Carmine talked about Thomas Wayne operating on him, and I was like, oh, okay, straight from the comics, I see.
I was happy to see that, man. It was God, there's just so much that I liked about this film. There was so much I was uncertain of, and then sitting a day, and I was like, "No, man, that was great."
Folks listening at home, I saw this. IMAX had this special early premiere on Tuesday, and we record podcasts on Sunday. So I saw it on Tuesday, sat on it for 4 or 5 days, and then saw it again last night with some friends. And now I get to let loose. And because the first time I watched, there's so much. Because it's 3 hours and it's different from what you're used to, that you kind of feel weird about certain things because it's just a knee-jerk reaction, at least for me. But then the more you sit on them, the more you realize, oh, this is awesome. This is fresh. This is close to the comics. And then rewatching it a second time, it solidified it as okay, I love this movie.
Yeah, dude. It's Cape shit, but it's like the furthest from Cape shit.
This
is true detective.
It's a noir detective, which I've been waiting on for a long time. Like, Batman is a detective. He's the greatest detective.
Yeah, his comic book is called Detective Comics. He's the world's greatest.
Yeah,
detective.
exactly. And we get to see him. He's in the lion's den in this movie. He is out of his element. And that's the beautiful thing about this film. We're in spoiler territory, so good luck to anybody not seen it yet.
Yeah, go ahead and watch the movie.
This is a spoiler cast. But what I loved about this movie is that he's 2 years in, but this is his origin movie because he takes a path in this film that I found to be brilliant, where he starts with saying that he's vengeance. Because when I first watched the trailer, I was like, he's vengeance. That's not very Batman like.
Yeah.
in a way. And then he transforms, and by the end of it, he's found a new direction for Batman, being a hope, symbol of hope. So his transformation in this movie, even though he's 2 years in already as Batman, is still his origin as the Dark Knight.
Well, one of my favorite things in this movie is that they present like the Riddler, his whole scheme and this whole thing is to basically avenge the bottom tier of Gotham, which this is
Yeah.
the dirtiest, gringiest, crime-ridden Gotham we've probably ever seen on screen. The color tones of everything, it's consistently raining. It was my
That's
nut,
one of the
boys.
biggest things for me too, is the
It was
atmosphere.
my nuts.
The atmosphere of Gotham is exactly what I wanted it to be.
Well, it's like going back to the Riddler, it was like there's a point in the film where they finally catch the Riddler, which I'm kind of going a little bit further in, and they're in jail, and he's like, you and I want the same thing. You and I are both, let's team up. And when he realizes Batman's like, nah, dude, he flips. He's like, that wasn't how I imagined this. That wasn't how this is changing. And it's just, that's when Batman realizes, starts to realize that maybe the way he's doing things and is not the correct way. And then he gets that scene where he beats the shit out of that Riddler copy, and the copy's like, I am vengeance. And you get to see just like full realization of that happening, dude.
And it's also, because the best villains, especially Batman villains, are the ones that are on a similar ideology, like path, but are just completely insane, like way over the line and willing to do crazy shit. So, and Batman doesn't, once he realizes the Riddler was basically having him do all the heavy lifting for shits, that's an important scene too, because you realize just how out of his element he is. He hasn't figured shit out, because like even the Riddler thought he had made it further. Like that's the whole reason the Riddler was assuming Batman was with him, because he thought that Batman had figured out the puzzle with the levees and shit by that point.
Man, Paul Dano presenting that like, oh no.
Yeah, because he's like
you're smarter than this.
Because I guess he assumed that Batman had figured out about the levees but hadn't stopped it. So he's like, oh, he must be with me. No, he just hadn't figured it out yet, because he's kind of an amateur in ways. I like that a lot.
This Batman is still going through so much trauma.
Yeah.
Like he's got so much PTSD from like big comparison with like Bale and Pattinson's Batman is that like Bale's kind of more composed and more knows what he's about type Batman, he's not as complicated, but like we get scenes where fucking Bruce is having like PTSD style flashbacks of his parents getting murdered when he sees like the kid whose dad was murdered at the beginning of the movie. And it's like,
which is a important piece of the movie.
It is. It's such a crucial, like pivotal part to him. I know some people like weren't a super big fan of that, but it's like, I think that's perfect for where he's at in life.
No, it's a great way to deal with his origin without having to retread the whole alleyway scene for the 100th time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, you use your brain. Like, it mentions the death on the TV at the beginning. That's all you need to know. Of course, he's going to identify with this kid. He's going to latch onto it. He's a very guarded Bruce Wayne right now. And people were complaining about how he talks to Alfred. And it's like, this guy is so guarded and so scared to open up himself. Like, of course, he's going to be like that. But of course, there's a progression in the film. And him going to accepting and holding Alfred's hand in the hospital is such a big moment for him.
That's a powerful ass scene, dude. The Alfred he's played by Andy Serkis this time, who fucking killed it. Alfred's younger. He's not Michael Caine age.
Right.
He's not this 70, 80-year-old man. He's the Alfred that has been growing alongside with Bruce. There's a line in the scene where he's like, you haven't failed. You have to understand the burden isn't on you, it's on me. I was a man at the time your parents were killed.
Yeah.
I was supposed to protect them, and I was supposed to protect you. And he kind of helps to share the burden with Bruce at that point. And Bruce realizes that Alfred's not saying these things out of, just purely, you know, parental, but at the same time, he feels a burden himself.
Right.
It's a man, Andy Serkis fucking killed it. I did
Yeah.
jokingly in my head hear him as Gollum for a second, but that's just me.
No, no.
Master Bruce. That wasn't a
He's
very good
good.
Gollum. This
I like
sets up the rogues though. Like this sets up as Gotham as a character that hosts this insane galley of fucking rogues, man. And it's like everything fit well. It didn't feel oversaturated. It felt
no,
natural.
because the subplots with Falcone was all tied together. It didn't feel out of place. They balanced the Penguin, Falcone, and Riddler very well, especially because one of the targets from Riddler was Falcone. So it all works out. And especially because Catwoman, she figures, not she figures, it's revealed that Falcone's her father, and that adds a whole extra layer to the action. And that's where you get because at first I was like, are they gonna mention the fact that Batman doesn't kill and all that? And then they finally get to it with her trying to kill Falcone. And it's subtly talked about before that, because when Gordon and Batman walk into the old orphanage, and
no guns.
he like says no guns. He's like, yeah, that's your thing, dog.
Yeah, it's such a Commissioner Gordon line too, man. That's the best part about this though, is that Gordon is also super young in this and starting to determine that the Gotham PD ain't shit. ACAB, bro, even in Gotham.
It's like, two dudes solving crimes. And that's not only is that refreshing, but there's a lot of gray in this movie, and which is another refreshing aspect. And what I mean is like corrupt cops, but when Batman is talking to Gordon about a guy, he mentions like, oh, he was a cop that crossed the line, so fuck him. But depending on your point of view, Gordon teaming up with the Batman is also crossing the line in a different way. So, it's all about perspective.
A lot of the times when Batman is going into these crime scenes, a lot of the cops have a lot of objections about that. Like they're just like, yo, he shouldn't fucking be here. You know who this is, right? And Gordon's like, no, we kind of need his help. Like I can only do so much, and the law has there's a line I can't cross, but there's a line that he absolutely can, and it's necessary to be able to solve this.
It is interesting that he puts Gordon's all in on Batman. I want to know in this universe what got him to that point, because
for real,
he's willing to like say, hey, you need to get out of here. Here's the keys to punch me in the fucking face.
I thought you'd pull your punch. I did pull it.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that there wasn't much, like there wasn't a need to rely on humor to make tense situations less tense. They just continued to make those situations tense.
Well, yeah, all the humor in this movie flowed naturally. It was refreshing, and it didn't feel quippy, of course,
So I was truly surprised at the performance we got out of the Penguin, Mr. Colin Farrell. That was the shit, and I cannot wait to see more of that. We may have gotten probably my favorite car chase scene in any fucking movie ever. Him and his fucking loaded out fucking GT just blasting through traffic and dealing with all that shit. Well, I was on the edge of my seat, dude.
The build up when they're making the deal, and you see in the darkness the Batmobile, you hear it like start up. And you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, dude. Like, see the giant jet engine on the back of that motherfucker. I was like, no shit. I didn't realize Batmobile was gonna be in this, seeing him so often on the bike. I was like, It seems like it might have been a later thing. And this is like the first iteration of the Batmobile. Uh,
Yeah,
what car is that? That's like a
I
fucking.
don't know. I don't know
Uh,
cars.
well, let me look that up because it's a badass muscle car. Batmobile, the Batman, because it's a badass muscle car. It makes loud fucking noises, and it looks like some fucking uh like nerd was like, "Wow, let's make a fucking badass car." Um, I don't know if we can. What kind of car is the Batman in?
This movie deals with heavy ass themes, and when
Throughout, yeah.
when I say it's not for kids, I don't mean that it's like it is dark, but and it's PG-13. But when I mean it's not for kids, I mean the source material or the material in the movie is just not interesting to young children. Like 7-year-olds aren't going to be interested in this movie.
Yeah, it's like an anti-cat, like anti-elitist, like
It's a
subplot.
detective movie. It's not a flashy Marvel movie, and I
We get
like
some
Marvel
flashy
movies.
scenes. I do too. Yeah, this is different. This is what I want out of most DC shit. Is this type of shit. Um, do we get some flashy scenes like the scene where he's in all dark coming out of that
Well,
elevator?
I'm those are
And like
very like well composed
that's what
like
I'm saying though. They're not
action
like
movie scenes.
ridiculous fucking
I'm not talking about
like
like,
earth-shattering
yeah.
scenes. But we get like these subtle fight scenes that make it flashy enough for I think most people who do go see this will enjoy it because
Well,
of
sure.
the
But also
detective
it deals
elements.
with mature elements, like one of the main elements being Catwoman's like kind of implied sex worker friend has been strangled and killed by a mob
Oh,
boss,
yeah, that shit was
and she's
brutal.
having to go into this greasy ass club, which is full of like strippers and like people doing drugs and shit.
Doing
Like,
drip. What the fuck is drip?
yeah, I don't know.
Like it's gotta be kind of lit, you know?
I thought it was drop. They're
Is it
drop
dry? It's something
heads.
like that. It's taken through the eyeball.
That's what I said. And Matt was like, no, they're snorting it. I was like, no, they're
No,
not.
those are eyedroppers.
Yeah, that's like some
It's
shit
going
like in
straight.
Dread, the slow
That's what
mo
I
or
was thinking. I
whatever.
was like, I turned to my buddy. I was like, "What the fuck? What do you think that is?"
Because yeah, whatever it is, the DA was fucked up. He was
Yeah, I do want to say real quick that that car was a Cadillac, a '75 Cadillac.
oh
The
cool.
Batmobile is. So that's kind of cool.
It's probably
But
his dad, so he souped up.
see, that's what I was thinking. Something. It's got to be something cool like that. I liked the use of technology in this fucking movie, and the use of social media was fucking great.
Yeah,
The fact that the Riddler had a secret Twitter account basically
yeah,
to recruit and set apart like all these people. He's like Charles Manson if Charles Manson had a Twitter. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? So like he had his own Riddler family out and they had no idea and they finally cracked that code. I loved that, man.
This
I thought
movie
that was
ripped
cool.
off of my script that I wrote that no one read. It was about a weirdo right wing incel who just went off the deep end so hard that he started like killing liberals and shit. And
Yep.
he like the reveal at the end of my screenplay was that he had followers and they were all doing copycat shit at the end. And I was like, huh, this is
I
similar to
love
what I
that,
was thinking.
man.
But
Yeah, cool.
so of
What do
course
you
I like the Riddler. Also the Riddler, some of his mannerisms where he would scream in between shit. I can't help but compare that to my own film when the midman breaks loose and he starts screaming at the camera.
yeah.
I was
Maybe
like,
they
wow.
watched it, dude. You should message Paul Dano and be like, hey, were you inspired by the Midman?
Yeah. So yeah,
What do you think of his
if you want,
outfit?
I mean I like his outfit. Look, I like campy comic booky Batman, but I also like down uh grounded in reality Batman, and this is like peak grounded in reality. And
Yeah,
so
man.
Riddler having that outfit was cool to me.
I didn't realize what that was. That's a sniper's winter mask or something like that. That's what they said in the text
Oh,
messages
okay.
on the side.
Well, it was
So that's
pretty
kind
cool.
of cool. Yeah, it was a unique look for the Riddler. We haven't touched much about it yet, but Zoe fucking Kravitz fucking
Yeah,
killed it.
dude. As soon as she came on screen the first time, Dimitri next to me gasped.
She
He was like, "Oh fuck."
dude, she owned every scene she was in, man. Like truly made that scene like that's the best one of the best Catwomen's we've had since probably Michelle Pfeiffer. which I have a soft spot for, for the
Oh
old
yeah, well you have to because
OG.
she's so good in that movie.
Certainly better than Anne Hathaway and Halle Berry.
Yeah,
This Catwoman was fucking from the slums, grew up, the son of a fucking, sex worker's daughter, this daughter of a sex worker, and like
yeah,
this is the Catwoman I've always thought of, the one that's like protecting other women and
yeah,
keeping them in her thing, and having questionable ethics and morals with the way she does things, but is always doing stuff for the betterment of her and her people, like her and her group of people.
yeah.
And using those fucking contact lenses were
Really
so
cool element.
fucking cool.
Yeah,
I liked that. I was like, man, I was curious to know how they would run with the technology in this, being that we are now in 2022 and we have drones that kill fucking kids in countries across the fucking way.
yeah.
And so,
And it was just like the contacts were done just well enough to where it didn't seem overly super futuristic hyper tech. It was
no,
like,
they're almost like in like 7020p, and then
yeah,
like
it was
scan
like,
faces, which
yeah,
scanning Facebook scans faces now. That technology is readily
right,
available.
right.
So they're using the
It was
technology that's
it
available
was
to
all
them.
believable to me for
My
sure.
favorite technological thing besides those contacts was that he's got a fucking glove that's a stun gun.
Yeah,
That shit was wicked. Going back to fucking Catwoman though, man, it was a great foil for Batman, man. Like it
yeah,
was great to have it. I'm glad that she was included on the first outing and not the last. You
yeah,
know, Catwoman's pivotal to the growth of Bruce and Batman as a whole, and
yeah,
technically, that's like his first. That's the first person of the Bat family.
yeah. And that's really probably the first time in a long time that he's let his guard down that much, especially when she pulls him in for a kiss,
Oh yeah, man, good
it,
kiss.
and that he's guarded and he's keeping himself distant, but he needed that. Like,
Yeah, man, he definitely needed. He needed someone to show him
that's why
affection.
he does care about her, even though they barely know each other. It was believable to me because this guy, he sees how she operates, and he knows her heart is in the right place, but she just needs some guidance because she could lose herself, and that's why he stops her from shooting Falcone. Um, and I don't know, and that's why I'm glad the movie ends with that shot of him looking back into the rear view mirror.
Seeing her zoom away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love that they confirm Bloodhaven's a thing in this universe.
Oh yeah.
It's another big city in the DC side of things. Um, yeah, I think it was perfect that she left. Again, she's the very first member of the Bat family in my eyes at this point, and it gives me hope for seeing some other things to come along. This is great for me because it did start off with like the biggest parts of Batman's whole career is uncovering all the dirty laundry that the elites and the mafiosos have in
Right.
Gotham, and then starting to try to correct that by helping the good people that he can find. Commissioner Gordon, that what was the woman's name who won mayor at the end?
I can't
Bangla or
remember.
something. She has a small role, but it's a very important role
Yeah.
to play. She's the fucking, what's his name? I can't even remember his name. Who ran for president anymore? Who's the old guy that ran for president that we really liked?
Who's the old guy?
The real old one we liked that was super liberal.
You talking about Bernie Sanders?
I am. I couldn't remember, dude. I voted for you twice, dog. That's all I need to say.
You did your time.
But it's like they're starting to resurrect this change, and then I think in the next we are getting sequels to this, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah, we're getting a trilogy, dog.
Okay, so I think the next one is going to probably bring in Harvey Dent
You think so?
as DA, because the DA is gone.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's a good point.
I think Harvey Dent's going to be brought in. I know there was speculation as to who the person was at the end of. I mean, it's the fucking Joker. But,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why people are.
well, I've had people say like Two-Face. I was like, they haven't.
That's who Matt thought it was, but I was like, dude, he
They have
dropped
to
the
bring
word.
Harvey.
He dropped the word clown. Like, why would
Yeah.
you? That's too obvious. Also, that scene was a little out of place, but whatever.
It's to set up sequels, man. It's we're getting an Arkham TV series. We're getting a
Penguin
Penguin
spinoff.
TV series,
Yeah.
and then we're getting a Gotham PD series. So we're getting three unique series that are going to help establish this universe more before we get in.
It's a bit much, but whatever.
Hey man, HBO has been killing it with their spinoffs lately, with fucking Peacemaker and just in general. It can help establish that universe even more.
You look
So
like
I'm
you're in
excited to see.
You look like you're in the movie, dude, in the shadows. About to fucking.
It's about to rain here, so it's like full on Gotham City in this bitch. And in Fort Smith, they like to keep people in the dark, poor people at least. So I don't really have any lights. I have a lamp I turned on, but
I'm
it
about to
doesn't
get
do
you
it.
one of those little circular.
I want the heart one so I can make those TikToks. It's like,
Yeah,
I
the
don't want to
my
ruin my friendship.
yeah, we have two of those kinds of lights at Parker's house.
Oh yeah,
Get you an OnlyFans light.
OnlyFans light.
But
No, Penguin. I liked the fact that we came in after Maroney had been busted, and that it was Carmine in charge. And
yeah,
that the Penguin was slowly popping up,
like
man.
classic mob shit.
Yeah, dude. I fell for the whole rat with wings. I was like, oh, that's Penguin. That's Penguin. I was like, that's Penguin. That's the reason why Penguin's in this. No, it's even better. It's fucking Carmine Falcone. Falcon's also a rat with wings. And the fact that fucking Penguin's out there, he's like, you motherfucker, like ready to shoot him because he's a rat was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I do wish that the Penguin was shorter.
Yeah, but
that's just me being picky.
Our friend Justin's fiance Journey, who is her first language is Spanish, found that scene particularly funny where they realized they fucked up.
Oh yeah, I didn't realize she went and saw it too last night.
Yeah. Oh, she's cool. She's a Robert Pattinson stan, my boy.
Good woman.
She all hardcore grew up with Twilight,
Oh yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair. That's so are the Lighthouse.
The movie's gonna there's a lot of girls that are gonna be hella down to see this, not because they're interested in the movie, but because of Robert Pattinson. And there's plenty of people that will want to see it, no matter who you are. But like the Twilight fans still are very much into Robert Pattinson.
I mean, you got me back into Robert Pattinson with Good Time. We talked about 2 years ago. I was like, man, it was right when they got announced that Batman was going to be Robert Pattinson. I was like, oh, that's fucking whack. And then you were like, no, watch Good Time. And then I finally watched Good Time. And then immediately after that, watched like The Lighthouse, Hot Life, and all these fucking movies. And I'm like, nope, he's Kino. He's good. Robert Pattinson's way cooler than I fucking thought. He's still such a diggery in my eyes, though.
Well, yeah. And
my boy.
People at home, if you know the Mooring Line and you know all the stuff outside of the podcast, then you know that Sumner and I are hardcore Death Grips fans, and so Robert Pattinson was brought into the cool like indie world for me was when he did guitar for the song Birds on their album Government Plates.
I forgot he did that.
Yeah, and so I remember we shit ourselves when we figured this out, and we went to the Death Grips music video for Birds, and all the comments were like teeny bopper girls like saying, what the fuck is like, this is fucking horrible. And I was like, okay, I respect this guy a lot more. And then he did Good Time a few years later, and I was like, this is a masterpiece.
Yeah, Good Time, great.
What I love, we were talking about Gotham and how I love the way it's stylized and stuff. Damn,
so much red. I love the use of strobes and red and everything in it.
Those thugs at the beginning, the face paint they're wearing and stuff.
The Joker thugs.
Yeah.
That's what I thought they were. I thought they were remnants of the Joker.
They're just a specific street gang.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know.
Like
maybe
the Warriors. No,
Warriors.
But
that's a good podcast. Go listen to that one.
What an easy way to show. I don't know. Yeah, I love good introductions for badass heroes, like in Raiders of the Lost Ark It's the classic out of the shadows the hero walks, and they do that with the Batman, and it's you get immediately so hype because
Well, it's like, yeah, you see him fight, but you also see him kind of get his ass handed to him a little bit during that fight.
yeah,
Just throughout the fights, he's not this giant chiseled fucking Neanderthal Batman. He's regular fucking guy, goes and has a fucking mental breakdown and becomes Batman.
Yeah, and he's winging it. Pardon the pun, but he's winging it most of the time, and that's why the Riddler wins. This is a movie where the villain wins. He wins the big battle.
Riddler got it. Yeah, Riddler got the win.
But of course, Batman has his personal victories, which I loved. I adored, because he becomes the Batman he needs to become. He becomes a literal guiding light in the most beautiful scene of the film when he guides those pedestrians out of the water with the what's it
called?
Flare.
Yeah, the flare. That shit was
a beautiful way. It's not subtle imagery, but it is beautiful and perfect for his character.
You're giving me chills because it reminded me of the scene where the woman, he's bringing her to the stretcher and she holds on to him.
Yeah.
And instead of Batman immediately, he holds her hand for a second.
Yeah, like he's now a symbol of
comfort.
Hope.
He's comfort.
That's what I love, is the transformation.
Oh, I love that, dude, because most people are very sketched out by Batman at first. Like, they don't know his intentions. They don't know who he is.
And at the beginning of the movie, you have the montage of the cronies, not cronies, just people like the guy robbing the store and stuff, and they see the bat symbol and they're like, oh, what if he's in the shadows? It's a great montage. It gets you hype as fuck, and they're using that Nirvana song, and then perfectly.
Yeah, that set the tone for the whole fucking movie.
It set the tone really well, because I've said this 100 times. I'm gonna say it again. Either people are gonna be in on emo Bruce Wayne, or they're gonna be out, and I'm in.
I'm fucking
using that Nirvana song was perfect for that, and then to use it again at the end after he has gone through this transformation, and that's my favorite. Like,
I was sitting in theaters, I turned to my buddy and I went, like, as soon as that Nirvana started playing, I looked at him, I was like, we're in for a fucking ride, dude. This is about to be a bleak fucking movie, and for the most part it was. What was it? Do you think, real quick, just some speculation thing, so Riddler figured out he was Bruce Wayne?
No,
you don't think he
almost did?
Do you think he, because he calls him Bruce when he's like confronting him in jail?
No, he's saying,
kind of like guessing, like how you would do like a celebrity that's walking by, you're not sure, you'd be like, hey Killer Mike, and they turn around and like, oh, it's you, gotcha.
No, well, he was so close. He was almost had it figured out, but he didn't, because he's the one guy who got away from us, wasn't he? And Batman was like, oh, he doesn't know, he hadn't figured it out, because he would have, it would have been interesting.
I think he would have released it. I think he would have released the information.
Yeah, because he needed, because the whole time he tells Batman that he needed him. He was the brain and Batman was the brawn, and he was using him in places where he couldn't. And so if he would have figured out Bruce was Batman, it would have fucked up his plans, because he used them the whole way through for all of his plans. So I don't think he knew who he was.
Did you empathize at all with the Riddler and his cause?
Well, sure. That's all good villains you can empathize with.
That's what I'm saying. Well, it's like,
he may be a crazy lunatic incel, but like, he grew up. Of course, if I grew up in an orphanage and I was this close to getting funded and a better life out of this shithole, and it all goes to shit because Thomas Wayne is killed, and everyone starts talking about a billionaire boy losing his dad, of course I'm gonna be I'd be furious too. So, all the best villains are from society's creation. So
the big thing I want to, everybody's going to be comparing this to The Dark Knight. Everybody is going to compare this movie.
Yeah, it's inevitable. The Dark Knight set the stage for modern blockbusters modern,
absolutely,
and modern, cape shit.
Like, and Heath Ledger puts down the role of a lifetime, literally, with the Joker, and it's one of the most horrific, terrifying roles ever fucking put to film.
Yeah.
Like Riddler's almost a better villain because you can empathize with him, as of Joker's just an agent
Now,
of
I do
chaos.
like the Agent of Chaos. Like, there is no reason to this madness. That's terrifying, and that's fine. And yeah, you can't connect with Joker as well. So there's two sides. So I
Exactly.
get
That's what
that.
I'm thinking.
But there are a few flaws with the Dark Knight that I didn't pay attention to when I was younger. With some of the writing with Rachel Dawes, she's kind of one-dimensional, and very Christopher Nolan is kind of not that good at writing women.
He's very hit or miss with
And so
it.
and Bruce in this movie kind of in The Dark Knight takes a back step and the Joker's kind of the main character of The Dark Knight, which is cool.
Yeah,
But
it's great.
there's some there's some two-dimensional shit with Bruce in that movie. Like, he goes through a lot of shit, and it's a fantastic film, but Nolan is grounded in reality in a different way than the Batman is grounded in reality. Nolan's Batman is like, basically it's just a crime action thriller that happens to be a Batman movie. The Batman is the most Batman movie there ever has been. It is
Oh yeah.
so like straight from the comics, with its gloomy feel, the comic book or the detective shit. It's all so, it oozes with comic book, but
Well,
not in a contemporary Marvel flashy way, but in a just, I
it's
don't
because
know.
Batman's not like, he has flashy stories. Batman at its core, the single issue Batmans that you're gonna watch or read are gonna be very dark, very gloomy,
I
stylized
can't
things.
believe how many people were like, wow, this movie's so dark and dreary. Like, why, we're living in a bad time right now. We need something cheerful. And this, I'm like, dude, don't go fucking see Batman. Obviously, you
No,
don't know anything
dude.
about Batman. Why
Sorry,
are you
sorry that the
complaining about this?
DCEU has made it established that you want some Zack Snydery like stuff. Like, no, we needed some like
Well,
dark,
also
gloomy,
like
but
shit like Shazam and Wonder Woman are a little more cheerful,
yeah,
But like,
absolutely.
this is his character. If you don't want this brooding guy,
He's the
I don't
king
know
of
what to
brooding.
tell you.
He's the
Like,
prince of darkness.
this is it. And they're
It'll be
saying,
cool. I'm hoping as a character, later movies, Batman is more healed as a person. Um, just speculation here.
well,
If
no,
they
yeah.
do,
Well, he already has, like, he's on the road
yeah,
to
exactly. The road to
healing.
recover, because he's not recovered at this point. He still
No,
has it in his mindset that every villain he takes down is the villain that killed his parents.
that's why, yeah, he's barely, like, Bruce Wayne probably has like 15 minutes of screen time in this movie. Like, he's Batman the whole movie.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'll be excited to see him
And
healing throughout the
yeah,
trilogy.
by the second movie, I have a feeling he will be a little more suit and tie Bruce Wayne, making appearances and stuff.
Man, I hope we get a Robin in this trilogy. I really do. I hope
I
we get
don't
someone.
really care about that.
I do. I think Robin is
I
so
think
pivotal.
I
The
don't.
Bat family's so pivotal to Batman's character and his healing as a person, because he is able to basically create the family
Well,
he
sure,
lost.
I get
That
that.
it's kind of it's I think it'd be cool as fuck for him to be able to do that again.
I just think Robert Pattinson's too young of a Batman to have a Robin.
Well, Batman was only in his like third year whenever he got Dick Grayson.
I know, but for me personally, I just
And how old is he in this? How is it? He's in his 30s in this movie, isn't it? It's
like
20 years
early.
after.
He's like exactly like 30.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. He's like, it's 20 years after the death of his parents. So he's in between 10 and 12 is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
And 3 years from now, when the next Batman movie comes out, if they have him in his mid 30s, I think that'd be appropriate.
I don't know. I feel like he needs another solo adventure before he has a sidekick.
It'd be cool. Oh yeah, fair. I think maybe the third movie. If anything, they need to introduce Barbara Gordon in the next
Or
movie.
maybe inexplicably Robin will be Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who's probably
I would
older
shit
than
my
him.
pants. I would shit my pants. And then somehow he's wearing the same suit from Batman and Robin with the bat nipples.
No, he's like, yeah. No, we get. Oh no, they just ruin it and they do the Robin verse, kind of like Chris O'Donnell, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, fucking the fucking.
So I've already been reading rumors about, I get on these rabbit holes where I just end up reading too much. They're already talking about Harley Quinn in the trilogy being played by Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yeah, it's just a rumor.
I think that'd be pretty cool.
Sure.
Especially because they basically at the end of Batman, Riddler's beating himself up over losing, even though technically he won. He lost out on having Batman as a partner and things like that, and he is talking to the person next to him who is, it's assumed and implied that is the Joker played by Barry Keogh, the guy who played fucking Druig in Eternals, and he's in Killing of a Sacred Deer. And
which is a strange choice, but
it is. But
we also gave Heath Ledger shit. Everyone did when he was cast. So
yeah, that's the kid from fucking 10 Things I Hate About You. It'll be cool to see the layer he brings to the Joker if they do bring the Joker, because he's also said that he's not coming back for sequels and whatever, which would be, that's like r/missed chances right there. Like bring the Joker in at some point. He doesn't have to be the fucking super dark. They could make him, similar to Jack Nicholson's Joker. You know what I'm saying? Like a little bit darker, but like similar in tone.
Yeah.
And they're talking about potentially bringing Anya Taylor-Joy in as Harley Quinn, and I like was thinking about that couple paired. I think that could work well. I don't know. I'm just
I want the Joker that can do dirty underworld crime shit and not just be like a maniac.
Yeah,
like he's gonna be crazy.
But the one who's like a mob boss, basically.
Yeah, right.
Like fucking old school Mark.
To me, the Arkham games Joker is like one of the best.
Yeah, it's top tier. It's the top of that, and like Batman the Animated Series Joker are the two that both played by Mark Hamill. So
yeah.
Who let's do some more speculation here. What villains would you want incorporated into the next two movies?
Well, obviously, Penguin's going to rise to the top after Falcone. Well, I didn't expect them to kill off Falcone in the first movie. It's interesting.
Kind of glad they did.
Yeah, he served.
It establishes the Penguin more. Falcone's great. Falcone's fun.
But now we get an arc with the Penguin from this movie to the next, where he was kind of the second-hand man, and now he's going to be more. He's going to take the mantle. He's going to try, because they mentioned at the end that there's going to be a fight for power after Falcone is killed. Mm-hmm. So,
well, we're going to get that TV series with Penguin, where I think that'll establish him coming into like the role of the leader of the underworld, and then the movie will probably have him as the head of the fucking shit. And I think if they were to incorporate any kind of mob like rival for him, it might end up being Black Mask.
Oh yeah,
who was in that? He was in that Birds of Prey movie. They kind of misused him a little bit, but Black Mask I think would be a really good, very intimidating villain. Personally, for villains, I want to see Victor Zsasz.
Yeah,
like full fleshed out fucking serial killer Victor Zsasz. And I'm kind of hoping they stay grounded in reality, but there's some villains that I want to see on the big screen again that are not so grounded in reality. Like, would love to see Poison Ivy back in this motherfucker.
No, that wouldn't make any sense.
It wouldn't, but I don't give a fuck at this point. She could just be an eco-terrorist, that has like some sort of like uses pheromones, that she like drops pheromone bombs or something like that.
I get it, but
I could also see the Scarecrow brought back from everything.
I don't
know. I'm trying to think of like Tombstone would be a good one for mob bosses.
Now, I know we already had Bane in The Dark Knight Rises, but we could have a different kind of Bane. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, you saw that shit that he injected himself.
Well, that's what I was going to talk about. Is that just adrenaline, or was that venom?
I don't know. It was green and like glowing almost. It was. I
don't know.
If it's venom, then
if
that's
it's venom.
fucking
then why
sick.
is he using venom?
I don't know. I'm cool with
But
it,
yeah, that
bro.
was a terrifying scene where he jumps up and starts almost kills the guy, beating the fuck out of him.
Very a
That's
la No Way
definitely a
Home.
last resort shit.
If it is Venom, then that would establish Bane, and if it's Bane, we need Nightfall. I know we kind of got that storyline in The Dark Knight Rises with Batman's broken back, but I want the over Thomas and Martha Wayne's grave, Bane breaking Batman's back and burying him. Like I want the full on he has to climb his way out type shit and recover while other people are being Batman around him.
It was strange that they made Martha Wayne have a backstory where she's like kind of crazy.
I want to know more about that. I think
Yeah.
we'll get more with the Arkham TV show that's coming out, which I think the Arkham TV show is probably the one I'm most hyped for if we're doing a spinoff because it'll show. I want to see how the fuck they escape all
The,
the time.
the it was interesting how quickly they built the world with connecting the Waynes and the Arkhams of like ancient families of Gotham. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's kind of like in Conway, like the Free Aldenhovens and
Sure.
like all those. Other,
It was
we got
funny. We were
ancient
talking
money.
last night. Matt was like, man, Robert Pattinson has such a distinct face and jaw. Like everyone's going to know who he is. I was like, no one in this universe knows who Robert Pattinson is. I was like, look, he's such a recluse as um, Bruce Wayne that no one's going to know who he is.
Well, Carmine even says that Carmine's like, you're stuck in your tower longer than I am, friend. Like you
Yeah.
stay away long more than I do.
So that didn't bother me. And then he was like, because to prove my point, Justin was like, because we're from Arkansas, if you listen and you don't know. And Justin was like, okay, what are the describe to me what the Waltons look like? They own Arkansas.
Damn, that's a
And
good
Matt was like,
point.
you know what? You got me.
That's a good point, dude. I love
Yeah.
that. Shout out to Justin on that one, man.
Yeah. So
Uh no, yeah, that's I understand where Matt's coming from, but yeah, Robert Pattinson didn't play Edward Cullen in the Batman universe.
yeah, I was looking at his shirtless scene in New Moon, and he's like so scrawny. I was like, because people are saying, "Oh, he's not buff enough for the Batman." And if you can go look at Twilight, look at New Moon, look how scrawny he is compared to this movie.
He's not as beefed up as we normally see Bruce
No,
Wayne, but he's still in fucking shape, dude.
yeah, he's
Like
still, and
he's still
I
ripped.
get why he Rob Pat was talking about how the when he was doing Twilight and other movies, how the studios were pushing him and pushing him and pushing him to like do these different regimens and stuff. And a lot of the time he wasn't even taking his shirt off for scenes. He's like, fuck this. The way I'm getting treated about my diet and my appearance is shitty. I'm just gonna do what I want to do for Batman. I
This
was like,
just
okay.
in, Robert Pattinson is based as fuck.
So I can respect that.
Yeah, for sure.
And I like how much he genuinely loves this role. He went out to one of the premieres
Yeah, it surprised
the
everybody.
other
That was the
night and was
cool
like,
thing.
"What's up?"
Yeah.
Because normally he's a recluse himself. He's real quiet and doesn't like to be around a lot of people.
Well, all the drama he had whenever he was dating Kristen Stewart back in the day, like they always talked about that was on so many tabloids
Well,
back in the day. And
he was in every he's
it's like you don't
everywhere.
want that. I'm hoping he gets to keep that same like spectacle of fame. He seems like a down to earth dude. He seems like someone
Yeah,
who I hope the fame of this movie, because it's already made $128 million.
yeah.
It's I hope his fame doesn't get super fucking insane for him.
I just think because I've seen people, some people are split on this movie, and I think it's different, and people really need to sit on it because I've seen a lot of people say they've sat on it and like it's gotten better and better for them, and that's interesting. And sometimes that's how it is with 3 hour movies. And or just some movies in general you have to sit
Yeah.
on. Like we talked about with the Big Lebowski. First time I watched the Big Lebowski, I thought, oh, that was fun. But then I sat on it and then rewatched it. I was like, oh, this is a comedy masterpiece. Or
Yeah.
Blade Runner. If I hadn't watched Blade Runner, if I didn't watch Blade Runner or 2001: Space Odyssey more than once, they wouldn't be in my top 10 favorite films.
No, I feel that. I've been sitting on it. It's only been a day, and it
Yeah.
went from me being like, I think it's just under the Dark Knight. I'll be like, no, this is a better movie than the Dark Knight.
Well, I would say The Dark Knight. Um, oh, I don't know. I don't know about that, but it is a great movie.
I think for me, it's genuinely better. It deals with more like Batman's more complicated of a character. He's not as
Yeah.
one dimensional.
Okay.
They do the female characters in this movie fucking correctly. The fucking villain is disgustingly like fucking terrifying and like mostly mysterious throughout the entire. We don't get a confrontation really between them until the end,
Yeah.
and it's cool. It's like it's cat and mouse the whole time.
Yeah. And then when it does, we
It's
see
fucking
Batman like explode and like beat the fucking wall out of
yeah. I
desperation.
love that. There's so much. There's so much emotion coming from that Batman and his trauma really, and him trying to not be the person that the Riddler wants him to be at towards the end, and just kind of realizing who he is as a person and becoming that symbol of hope.
Yeah.
That's
That's the
fucking
big thing
epic,
about
dude.
them. Yeah. The whole movie. Uh, because I saw a tweet, and this is how bad off we are with average film goers with blockbusters, is that some guy was like, oh, uh, in The Dark Knight Rises, we got a whole atomic explosion and all this cool shit. And the end of the Batman is just he just cuts a rope. I'm like, dude, that's the saddest thing I've ever read. People listening, bigger isn't always better,
No.
especially when it's a more focused, character driven take. And this is not every film has to be massive scale to have a lasting impact. To me, Batman leading those people out of the water is more powerful than most shit I've seen in other superhero
Yeah,
films.
absolutely.
That just totally made his character and was one of the most, I don't know, that's a beautiful, beautiful scene to
It's
me.
when you realize he's not doing Batman for himself anymore.
Right.
Like he's still doing it for himself, but he's doing it to protect the citizens now. That the legacy of Thomas Wayne was never one like what he assumed it was, but it's the people that Thomas Wayne cared for.
Also, the that final scene or set piece in the Madison Square, or Gotham Square Garden,
Gotham's actually in New Jersey, by the way. I
is
didn't know that until
still,
recently.
it's still a great action like final set piece.
Yeah,
Just
it's a
people
flooding.
have people got their expectations because you've got Thanos throwing on an entire planet at Tony
Yeah,
Stark now. You know what I mean?
where you've got Bane blowing up an entire football field at the beginning of the
Yeah,
fucking
and it's
movie.
like, first of all, this is the first in a trilogy. Never expect, they gotta slowly escalate.
Yeah, we can't
Not
have
that
a
they even have
fucking.
to. This is all small scale
I don't
Gotham
know, man.
crime
People complain
shit.
about the escalation. He flooded a whole fucking
That's
city.
what I'm saying.
Like, where's your?
Like,
He
yeah, like
flooded a
this, like
city.
that's pretty. Yeah, the that's pretty catastrophic.
Yeah, dude. That's I didn't. For one, I didn't realize Gotham was under the sea level, which is just poor planning. But at the same time, it's like people complain, oh, there wasn't a nuke, there wasn't. Dog, they fucking Katrina the city
Like
in an
that's one of the
instant.
most like successful villain things in any Batman movie ever.
And it's funny because the Riddler doesn't think he's won. Like the
Yeah,
Riddler's like,
that's
I
what's
lost.
fucked up.
Fucked. It's so fucked. And that irks me. Like, oh, the scale is too small. They we watched a car chase where a dude slams into three semis and Batman takes a fucking ramp with his jet fuel on the back and flies through that and flips that fucker's car. And you're telling me that like the scale is too small.
I just think people were not used to this kind of movie, and I think everyone needs to go watch it again, because once you watch it again, sometimes when you're trying to figure out the plot of the movie and there's a lot of shit going on, it might feel like slow or like a uneven in places. But then once you have it all in your head, you've seen the movie, you go back and see it a second time, you don't have to constantly uh keep up with shit because you already know what's going to happen, and the film feels way faster and
Yeah.
way it all comes together and clicks.
That's how I felt with most movies that are over about 2.5 hours will usually have to be a couple. You just have to watch them a couple times.
The second time I watched it, it all solidified for me.
I'll
So
be
I
watching.
urge others to do that, and I know you will.
I'm gonna say I'm most likely will be seeing it again in a couple days, just like after work. But it's like with any movie that's long. There's a lot of stuff cram packed into a movie. Like Dune was great the first time. It was even better the second time.
Okay.
You're able to focus more on things that you missed. And I think that's hella important. God damn, it's gonna be hard for these superhero movies to keep up with Batman this year.
Well, there's gonna be a different kind. Okay, I'm hoping Multiverse of Madness isn't just a
Cameo fest.
fan fest of cameos. Yeah,
I don't think it will be.
I trust Sam Raimi to do something special with an MCU project. I hope, but that's not every comic book movie is gonna be like the Batman, and that's fine too.
No, and I don't want every comic book movie.
Exactly.
I want things to feel comic booky appropriate to their fucking character.
I just want people to, when something's different like this movie, to not have a reaction like what am I trying to say? Knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah, they're not reactionary.
I don't know about this. Just kind of let it wash over you.
Quit being boomers when you watch fucking movies, dude. All these boomers are becoming zoomers and fucking complaining about the stupidest shit. And it's like, this is the peak of Batman at this point, you know.
Neck. Yeah.
How's your back, and then your pussy and your crack?
My back sucks.
I feel that, dude. I bet Robert Pattinson's back fucking feels kind of bad. Carrying the Batman franchise.
Back muscles, yeah, dude.
This was a solid movie. Great way to start the year for Cape shit.
Yeah, and then it's just certain people I didn't expect to be kind of cold towards this movie are, so I'm hoping they give it a second chance.
Who have you seen that's been cold towards
it? Some folks I'm friends with from Patrician Film Post.
Really? I thought they would eat this shit.
Like, this is stylistically, it's shot, really well, like an art movie would be shot.
Yeah.
Great use of lighting. Gotham, one of my favorite elements is how dreary, rainy Gotham is, and
like a perfect color palette. It's like, you've seen the old Watchmen movie. That city is consistently dreary and disgusting and like rainy all the time. It's based off of Gotham. You wouldn't know that if you were just basing your opinion on most of the movies that have come back out for Batman. It reminds me. So there's a lot of movies that are profound in like the atmosphere that it sets. And like the biggest one that I can think of is the OG Alien. The atmosphere that shit sets is just disgusting and dreary, but it's futuristic, and that's
masterpiece.
Kind of how I feel about Gotham, dude, with like how expertly they fucking designed Gotham.
And driving home the what am I trying to say? The voiceover at the beginning and the ends helps drive home the transformation, and I'm glad they had the voiceover, because that's a classic thing in a detective movie too.
It's the first 10 minutes of that movie sets the tone so fucking well for the rest of the movie. You know what's in store,
right?
It's like, if you don't like that first 10 minutes, like, you might want to.
You got that, and then you've got the well-balanced villains and mob underworld, which you get to see the iceberg lounge, and then the lounge the lounge within the lounge, or
44 below.
Yeah, so you get that. It's all set up very well, and it's not congested.
No, it feels saturated correctly. It does not feel like they did too much.
People are like, oh, it's 30 minutes too long. No, it's not. like just because the Riddler was arrested doesn't mean that's the end of the movie. Like you got to think
Well,
outside the box a little bit.
dude, what got me is people are complaining about the Thomas Wayne aspect in this, and that's the most pivotal part to like
That's the
the
most interesting
development.
shit is making
Yeah,
him being disillusioned by his parents
yeah,
and
he's
that
idolized them.
story.
Well, it's like when Carmine tells him the truth, and
Yeah,
then he goes up to Alfred and is like, "How could you lie to me?" And
yeah,
Alfred, that you see Alfred fucking angry, and explains to him what
yeah.
happened. And it's like a whole new
No,
breath of air
that's
for him.
so dynamic.
Yeah, it's great.
And if they complain, then just tell them to go read the fucking comics because there is a Thomas Wayne taking a bullet out of Carmine is straight from the comics.
Highly recommend if you are going to delve into the comics after this movie because you're interested in this. The Long Halloween and
Yeah,
Batman Year One.
yeah,
Those are the
both of
two that
those.
this reminded me so much of.
Me too.
Just the fact of that we got the beginning of this shot during Halloween. I was like, immediately when he said it's October 31st, I was like, yep, we're in for the
Yeah.
week of fucking hell. What's interesting to me is that Matt Reeves has been talking about doing Hush as the one of the villains.
Oh yeah.
And I think that would work fucking baller on
What
screen.
about Court of Owls?
Court of Owls is what I want.
Yeah.
Court of Owls is like
Because
the epitome of like modern Batman stories. Court of Owls is one of the greatest like
yeah.
groups of villains, man.
Here's
It's
the
just
thing
Batman elites.
is this is the hero I know the most about with comic wise and shit. And that's a stereotypical answer to give. Oh, who's your favorite superhero? Oh, Batman, but it's just how it is. That's just
Batman's
fine.
the greatest.
Batman's great.
Batman's the best
He's not even a
DC.
superhero. He's just a hero.
Yeah, Batman's the best DC hero for a fucking reason, man. He's not your
Yeah.
Boy Scout.
So yeah, I immediately thought of Year One and Long Halloween, and so yeah, definitely look at those. Um,
We've
or
got a lot more
play the Arkham
Batman
games.
content. We've got a lot more Matt Reeves Batman content
Arkham
coming.
games are really good too, and have a similar tone. But it's like an older, and it's not as grounded in reality, obviously, with Poison Ivy and all these crazy things. But yeah. Also, people should give Arkham Knight another chance, like I did, because at first I was like, "Oh, fuck these Batmobile bullshit missions," but you get past all that, and it's a great game.
I still can't get past all
That's
that.
okay.
I fucking hate
It took
that.
me. It took me a while, but yeah.
Great movie, starting the year off strong. We've gotten some great shit that's come out this year already, and I am fucking hyped for the rest of the year, man.
Yeah.
It'll be a good year for shit to change. We're getting a lot of changes in the Marvel and DC universe, so it's cool.
Yeah, I want people to zero in on what's important, and what's important is
money.
No, it's just like I keep thinking about that pivotal scene with the flare and him guiding those people.
It's like iconic.
That's one of the coolest scenes, and it just Batman's always been a hero to me growing up. So the movie immediately clicked with that scene, and I was like, okay, this is the most perfect Batman scene in a movie. Anyway, go watch it, people. There's what else is coming out soon? We can move into other talk.
Real quick, play Elden Ring if you play video games at all. It's the best RPG that's ever been made.
Look, I'm scared of that game.
Yeah, you should be. It's fucking hard. It's massive, but it's fun.
I do have a $25 Target gift card, so if they have a physical copy there, I might put that towards them. But I can't see myself paying full price right now.
That's fair, dude. It's definitely a game where you like get into it and then you get highly frustrated and then you have to stop. Or you're like our friend Matt Prine, who just fucking bodies the game after never playing a fucking Souls game ever. It's kind of ridiculous how good that guy is at that game.
Yeah,
but expected.
Although okay, Kino update for anyone watching. I was at Game Exchange yesterday and I found this 5 Blu-ray box sets.
Oh shit!
5 originals for fucking $10.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
What is that? The one? Which gaming exchange? One in Chanel?
the one, no, the one in North Little Rock.
Fucking lit, dude.
So I
That's
was
a
like,
good
I'm gonna
stuff.
check out this one. I never go over here. I'm gonna see what their GameCube collection is, and it was fucking piss poor, so bad, like no good GameCube games. So I said, well, I'll just see what kind of movies they have. Um, and normally I've been trying to hold off of buying physical movies because trying to save money. But I was like, man, I love these movies that much,
It's
and I'm
10
about
bucks.
to I'm getting rid of HBO Max because Matt said I could just use his, and I'm trading HBO Max for uh Regal's unlimited plan, which is 18 a month. I can go see all movies anytime, all the time.
That's
I was like,
dope.
it's gonna save me fucking money.
We don't have a Regal up here, so I'm SOL.
Yeah.
We got slim pickings
Yeah,
up in
I'm
Fort Smith, Arkansas.
having a break from Cinemark after I worked for them and had a falling out. So
Bad breakup.
we're on a break, you know.
What do we have coming up next for movie wise?
Dude.
Morbius is coming out,
Oh well.
fucking Doctor Strange, all that shit. But
Yeah,
I'm trying to
next
think
month,
of,
dude, the fucking Northman.
oh shit, is that next month?
Yeah. Pretty
No,
sure.
lit. I'm fucking down for that, man. I fucking love Robert Eggers.
Yeah, and then after that we got Multiverse of Madness and Bob's Burgers movie.
I'm down for that one too. That looks
Yeah.
awesome. We got Nope coming out in a few
Yeah.
months,
Saw
and
that
that's
trailer
my big
before
one,
the
bro.
movie.
That fucking movie is gonna be lit.
I was like, what the fuck is this? I
It's
was
an
like,
alien
well,
movie, I'm pretty sure.
Jordan Peele hasn't missed, so
No, absolutely not, man. There's not been a thing even the shit he's produced, the Candyman reboot, fucking
oh yeah,
great.
I heard it was pretty good.
I loved it.
Ooh.
So
Hmm.
yeah, I'm excited for that. Got Thor towards the end of the year. There's a lot of shit. I need to spruce up and figure out
Oh
what's
yeah.
going on.
Parker was like, they're making another Thor movie. I was like, yeah. I was
Yes,
like,
sir.
Jane Austen's or not Jane Austen. What's her name?
Jane something. Jane
Yeah,
Foster.
Jane Foster. I
Be
was like,
funny if
yeah,
it was
she's
Jane
gonna
Austen.
be Lady Thor buff as fuck in this movie. She's like, holy shit. I was like, yeah.
Getting ready to simp on that one.
Mm.
Yeah, it should be good years for movies. Batman started off strong, man. This has been one of my favorite movies that's come out in a while.
Yeah, and I like I'm just glad they used that song. That wasn't just a trailer song, they used it in the movie. They
It
did that for
was great.
Matrix 4 as well. I was glad about that too.
That's cool.
But yeah. And I like the use of the non-diegetic to diegetic sound, like where you hear the choir singing, and then you realize there's an actual choir in this
Yeah, I like
overall
that too,
song.
man. That shit was cool.
And stuff like that.
I was expecting at one point the bishy bishy dasha dasha dasha, but I don't know why. I just like heard the drums and I was like, oh shit.
I like how gothic his fucking Wayne Manor is.
It's literally like a fucking disgusting
It
old
looks like
school
the fucking
manor.
haunted mansion, dude. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I
Like,
thought that too, dude.
and then
I
he's
was
just
like,
walking around
what?
in all black. I was like, oh shit, this guy
Yeah, this
rules.
dude
He's
is
like the fucking Crow, but not
yeah,
really.
this guy's cool. One of these days we're gonna figure out what the drop is and we're all gonna do it together.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Alfred for fucking solving so much shit in this movie.
They put Alfred to work, man. That's how Alfred
It
should
also
be.
helps show Batman's inexperience,
Yeah, for sure.
leaning on Alfred so much.
For sure.
And oh shit, good use of filmmaking is when you think it's cutting to Alfred who's opening that package, but really it's already happened like an hour ago.
Yeah, that was good.
And
I
the
forgot about
maid
that.
lady like answers the phone instead. It's
Yeah,
interesting. I
that
like
broke my
that.
heart. I was real sad for a second. I was like, no fucking way in the first movie they kill Alfred. It's like,
It'd be
no
brutal.
fucking way. I'd be pissed. I'd be like, why? Why is this a thing? Who's gonna be Alfred now? Batman needs Alfred. There's no Bruce
Yeah,
or
he
without
does.
Alfred. So yeah,
Yeah.
good
Anyway,
times, man. I'm excited to see what's coming out more, man. I'll be patiently waiting.
yeah. Thanks for listening, folks. We really like this movie. We hope you give it a chance or a second chance if you're unsure. And it's understandable. It's different. It's a different kind of
Thanks for
movie.
listening to us throat this Robert Pattinson dick all podcast.
Yeah, if you want a cool noir detective story with cool crime and awesome action scenes, go see it. It's not that hard to recommend for me, but not
Solid
all of us are
thumbs up.
patrician. That's why they call me the Kino Cowboy. Thanks for listening.